Should we start this thing?
I suppose.
Now we're getting into political discussion. We're going to lose all 6 of our listeners.
I know, we will.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Hey, everyone. Oh, McDonald's.
Welcome to the No Budget Filmmaking Podcast, presented by Cinema Summit, a podcast about the art of making films, no matter how small the budget. And now, here are your hosts, Alex Stark and Trevor L. Nelson.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is episode 38 of the No Budget Filmmaking Podcast, and I am Trevor L. Nelson.
And I'm Alex Stark, and today we're going to be talking about the life of a production company. All that good stuff. But first, Trevor, what are we drinking?
We're sticking with the Miller Lights, you know. It's just something nice. And if Alex put the beginning part of us complaining about the cold in here, it'd be shocking that you were drinking ice cold beer, but delicious.
Yeah, it is nice. I do like the silver bullets, you know, but there's something about having a beer that perfectly fits in the koozie.
Yeah, you know, I have a bone to pick with Coors. Coors, I love you. You're tasty. You're delicious. You show me that you're cold. But we have a little mini fridge here. You know what? Those fuckers don't fit in the Sody Pop dispenser. No. Because they're too tall.
Yeah. What's that all about?
I get it, guys. I get it. But I don't get it.
There's no extra beer, right?
No.
It's not more.
And it's not less like fucking Stella, which we found out screws us in the beer department. You're lucky you're delicious, Stella.
You are lucky. What is it, 0.8? Yeah,
you get screwed up 0.8
ounces.
I don't
Terrible.
I don't agree with that at all.
All right, so what's new, Trevor? What's new?
So the biggest thing that's new for us is over the weekend we shot the pilot that we were talking about. It's kind of like a little 30 for 30 documentary TV show. We shot the pilot, met with the family of this story. And you know, going into it, I would say I was interested, but I thought, okay, you know, it'll be a pretty good story. It was good. This story is good.
It definitely exceeded my expectations.
Yep.
We can say that.
Yeah.
I had very low expectations because I didn't. When I tried to Google it, I couldn't come up with really anything.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the story was. I just knew it was like a jet-powered truck. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, I guess. I mean, it's kind of like a niche, like a funky little quirky thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know how interesting that's going to be. But then the actual story that it goes into with the family and the drama and all that kind of stuff is actually very interesting.
Yeah, and I think that was me too. It was like I tried to look it up, and I couldn't find anything about it, which adds to the mystery of it all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we shot that 2 days down in Corona del Mar. In the OC, kind of near Tustin. And we did that. That was 2 full days.
2 full days. I think it was like from leaving the house to getting back to the house, it was probably like 14 hours. Yeah.
And then there was a couple stops in between to pick up some equipment, drop off some equipment, stuff like that. First day was a little bit earlier than the Sunday, but overall, it's a good shoot. Not too hard. I think it looks pretty good. I've been going over the footage, starting to make proxies. So we shot it, and now we're moving on to time to edit. And we shot in 4K, and you know our beast of an editing machine can edit 4K, but you know Premiere just brings and creates proxies when you bring in footage if you have it set up. And you know what? Proxies just make it that much easier.
It does. So why are you using... Because we also simultaneously recorded proxies.
Yeah. So, well, one is that...
Our naming convention was off.
And Adobe just has a really nice way to, like... And you can do this later. You can bring in footage and then connect the footage, but you have to go one by one and connect the footage with its proxy. So that you can easily switch between the two, because there's a button that's in Premiere where you hit a button and it'll go between the original and the proxy. Really quick and easy, and makes it seamless. Now, you could do that if you've made your proxies outside of Premiere, like with our camera, the V35 or the LT. But the problem becomes is that it just is time consuming. You have to go and individually link every file.
Yeah.
And so especially when, you've done them outside and the naming convention is not perfect, you have to go find every file, and that is annoying.
Yeah.
Super annoying.
So speaking of that shoot, you got to use an LT on an actual project for the first time.
Yep.
We've seen them, we've touched them, we've used them at Panasonic events and different workshops and stuff, but we haven't actually rented one and used it out on the field.
First time put my hands on it and using it into some professional extent. And I will say, you didn't get much work with it.
No.
But I'll say I like it.
In fact, none.
None. I mean, you helped set it up, but
yeah.
But I liked it. I like the fact that it's just a smaller version of our camera. You're not really giving up much. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you got a smaller sensor, or there's a lot of like spec changes between a bigger and smaller version.
Yeah.
Only thing you do give up is you give up 2 P2 and micro P2 slots.
Yes, you only get one.
You only get one at a time. And
you also give up 444 12-bit, don't you?
Yes, you get 444 12-bit. But luckily we shot on 422, so that wasn't a problem. And also one thing that's great is that you can use in the P2 slot, you can use micro P2 slot. You can use a regular SD card as long as it's a high enough class to shoot your proxies. And if anyone knows Panasonic's media, it is expensive.
It is expensive.
And micro P2 cards are nothing to snub your nose about in the price department.
No. And speaking of micro P2 cards, they are the reason that we had weird issues with the proxies that were recorded on the V35 and the naming convention, because we had set the naming convention on the V35 to be in such a way where it says like the reel and then the clip and then the date. Super easy
to organize and all that. But go ahead, Alex. You found this out.
But the proxies can't do that. And they default to the P2 proxy naming file convention, which is just like a jumble of letters that has no sequence whatsoever.
At all. Unless
you have micro P2 cards that are over 64 gigabytes, which ours were 32, which I found very annoying. Because how could that possibly matter in terms of like file size? It's just the name of the file.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
$320 for a 64 gigabyte micro P2.
Just why?
Why? But see, this is the thing. It's a UHS2 V90 U3 Class 10. You think you'd be able to buy those and put them in there?
Yeah, I'm still not convinced that you can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to. They're funky sometimes.
I'm checking right now.
That stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to look later, but it looks like it's just a UHS2 SD card.
It does. It looks identical.
It looks like it's kind of like how Sony has those like battery chips that doesn't allow you to use like it's a proprietary chip that only goes in their batteries, so you have to use their batteries. Which I think people have hacked.
I didn't know that. I just assumed that the actual mount itself was different because every battery has its own special kind of like way of connecting.
Yeah, so it says that there's like a firmware software lock on that you can't just use an SD card. You bastards.
But can you clone it onto a different card?
I don't know.
Do you feel me on that? Because that would be tight.
That would be super tight. We're going to have to see it. We're going to have to do some searching here because
how could you not clone one card to another card if it's the same specs?
Yeah, I don't get unless there's like it's like the dongles that like Avid used to have where you had to have something connected to your computer.
Yeah.
And they hacked that, but maybe it's just not enough people use P2, micro P2 to hack it,
Yeah.
Like,
it's got, because it's not a special reader.
No.
It's an SD card reader.
Yeah, it reads it just fine.
Suggests that you can get footage off of it, you should be able to put footage onto it in the same way.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There is. I'm trying to remember what it was. Where it's kind of the same idea where you have to have a certain. It's hard to explain. It's like you have to have a certain piece of software or something that recognizes. I mean, fucking Keurig, when they released their new Keurig machines, they had something that was trying to do. It was called like a DRM on the pods, so that you couldn't use like off-market pods or your own.
Sure.
And they hacked that. But like a lot of the companies will do that, where they have it's like it's got to register something in the card as being present, or it won't work.
But if it's a software and not a physical,
no. But
thing
I wonder.
in the card.
But I wonder if it's a thing where it's like. Anything else like a SD card reader ignores it, or it's like maybe another chip in there that it doesn't matter, but the Panasonic requires it for. I'm trying to think of the example. I had this example in my head and I just lost it. But the Panasonic itself requires it to record.
Yeah, but didn't you just read that it's a firmware like software?
That's what
thing?
somebody said on a forum. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what it is. No, it's not straight from Panasonic.
From the goat man's mouth.
Yeah. So it's like it can be read in anything, but to write on it, it has to have this like one thing that Panasonic recognizes.
I see.
Which is dumb, but I hate it. But yeah.
Well, speaking of expensive junk that we're trying to hack, I've decided that I'm going to build some scrim gyms.
Alex went down a deep hole today.
I did. So we have these PhotoFlex light panel kits. We got them at an auction. They're like
we got so many of them.
We got 8 of them.
We got eight of them.
They're large. They're like maybe 6 foot by
3. Yeah, I'd say 3 by 6. That's a pretty good
something like that. And they have a silk that goes over them.
Mm-hmm.
They're break apart frames that kind of like are held together with bungee cords, so they snap back into place. But they're kind of flimsy. They don't really have a good connection. Like you can't mount them into a grip head. They have their own special little plasticky thing that you clamp onto a stand, and it's not very positionable.
They're kind of annoying.
They're a little annoying,
but they're very handy when you're on set and you need something. You need to put up, a silk,
a large, tall silk. Sure, yeah. But I've decided that I'm going to make my own scrim gyms because scrim gym.
Oh man.
Well, what I really wanted was a 4x4 kit, something like the Road Flags 2. Chimera makes one, although it's not as robust. And then Westcott makes the C47 DP kit, which has like silk floppy flag, which is somewhat unique.
Yeah.
And a couple other things.
But like everything in this industry,
it's all really expensive.
Super expensive.
So the Road Flags kit is like $600. The C47 DP kit is $600. It's all $600.
Yeah, I know. That's like the sweet spot of like just ripping you off.
But the thing about the C47 DP kit is you only get one of them, whereas the Road Flags
for
kit,
$600 you only get one.
Yeah,
well, screw that.
You get 2 frames with the Road Flags kit. But still, that's a lot of dough.
That is a lot of dough for just kind of
for something really simple. So I went online and I found this source for basically the same exact materials that they used to make them, and I've decided I'm going to make them for a fraction of the cost, and then either
save that money,
buy the silks and the reflectors and all that kind of stuff and the flags, or perhaps maybe we'll explore the idea of making those as well.
Yeah.
But
if you find the right material.
The material's not the part I'm worried about.
Oh, really?
It's the making it look decent, because it's gonna bug me if it's like ugly.
I know. Alex is like I will do what it takes to save some money as long as it doesn't look stupid.
Yeah, if it looks real dumb, I don't want it because then I look real dumb when I show up on set with these homemade janky things.
Yeah, I know. I know. We already show up on set with old stuff because we're like, hey, we just saved a lot of money on our car insurance, and so yeah.
It's different to show up on set with like old like stands and stuff that look like they've been used, compared to something that looks like your fourth grader made it in like arts and crafts class. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
Slightly different. One is just like, oh yeah, I use this. I work a lot. Maybe that's what it suggests. Or it's like, I got this used. Whatever, no biggie. Versus like, I spent $5 and made this myself, and it might catch on fire.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. We just don't want anything to catch on fire and maim us.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna make some of those. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, you want to tell them what you're gonna do even more, a little one step further? What we're looking at?
What was that?
Light mat?
Oh yeah. So Westcott makes these flexible light panels, LED, and it incorporates with their sort of Scrim Gym type snap together frame to create like a rigid structure for it when needed, and then you can pull it out and use it all flexy if you want. But I also found a source of some LED strips that are high CRI, like 90, 95. Which is pretty nice.
That's pretty basic these days. It better be that. If not, it's a POS.
And so we could rig those up on a mat and then use the frames to create basically the same exact fixture for, once again, fraction of the price.
Fraction. And these are dimmable.
Yeah.
I mean, not dimmable, but bicolor.
Dimmable.
Bicolor dimmable.
And dimmable.
Oh, and dimmable. And so the ones that are out there on there are usually daylight dimmable.
Yeah.
But this...
Bicolor
dimmable.
And what I'd like to do, so we have some crazy 4x4 LED fixtures.
Yep.
Which are cool, but they use LED tubes, which is fine.
Yeah, they're not bicolor.
You have to switch out the tubes to different color temperatures, kind of like Kinos.
Yeah.
And we only have tungsten and daylight, and you can try to like mix them, I guess.
Yeah,
if you can do that kind of stuff. And they're huge.
They're big.
Enormous. So I would love to create a 4x4 light mat, essentially, and then create a break apart 4x4 frame to stick it in.
Yeah.
And then put it on a C-stand, and then it's like boom shakalaka.
Yeah.
Good to go.
And not only that, but they're heavy.
They're heavy.
They're metal frames to support all those
pretty
tubes.
Big with like junior. You need a junior stand.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Like with these, you could do it with the C-stand versus a junior stand.
Yeah. And it's super light, less heat, less power. I'm all for it, man. Let's start making these.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
It'd be pretty fun too.
Pretty cool.
So that's that is one of our that is what Alex's biggest project coming up is.
Yep.
Where Alex's other project that he's been working on as I've been doing this White Cloud stuff is we are putting together a business plan. Now, we always talk about how, we have another opportunity. Well, that's just how it goes in this industry. You always take any opportunity you can get run with it.
Not only you take any opportunity you can get, you try
Create
to make
own.
as many opportunities as possible.
Yes. And so we have an opportunity to, get some films in front of people's eyes, like some ideas that we have. And Alex putting together a business plan of this with like research and numbers and all nerdy stuff, and it looks pretty sweet. So we're going to be sending that out soon, trying to partner with some people to get some money.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd be nice. Start making some films.
Yeah.
Be the next Josh Trank.
I don't know who that is.
Chronicle and Fantastic Four.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Was an editor and directed web series, and then went and directed a studio film. And then he crashed and burned. But no,
I don't want to do that.
I know. Yeah, we'll scrap that. But yeah, so we're putting this package together, and at some point when the time is right, when the iron is hot, they say, and you strike it.
Yes.
We're gonna send it out and talk to some people about a partnership, and get that going, and possibly shoot some movies, which is what we all want to do.
Yes, indeed.
Yep. What else we got, Alex?
Let's see. We're doing a little equipment liquidation on some things.
Yeah.
To try to make room for new
Yeah.
Trying to get rid of some HMIs that we have just left over.
Yeah.
Some of those light panels kits that I mentioned, the PhotoFlex ones.
Yeah, maybe some of our hives, because we have 10 of them. We don't really ever need that many.
Yeah.
And they're in pretty good condition. And so that kind of stuff, just so, because moving on to our next one, we have, some potential projects coming down the pipeline from that grew out of this pilot that we shot. And we need a little bit of different equipment for it. And it's stuff that we've wanted to buy, but we've held off because, didn't really need it. But if this comes through, it's kind of one of those things, you gotta buy the stuff so that we can then rent it and make the money back. Mm-hmm. Or else we're renting it from someone else and paying them all of our money. So don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, so we might be doing some other pilots, might be doing some movies with the people that we worked on the pilot with this weekend. Looking forward to it. Actually, by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be 2 weekends ago. But yeah. Exciting stuff. Things are kind of moving. And I'm sure Alex will have a crazy deal he's going to try and swing at some point. But, hey.
For what?
I don't know. You're going to find something.
I already found something.
Oh, God, what is it? What is it?
No, it's not going to work. I already talked to the guy, and it's never going to happen.
Tell me.
There was a...
This is fantastic.
There was a guy who's liquidating his entire studio in North Hollywood of gear.
No. Okay.
And it's not great gear,
yeah.
And it was also sets. But don't get too excited because it was for a puppet show. So it's like miniature sets.
Okay. I mean, I like miniatures, so cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
And I was going to try to pull a Video Village deal with him where it's like, because he was like, got to get rid of it. Everything must go, need it out. So I was going to try to say, hey, we'll take it off your hands and sell things off for you. So it's like out of your space. Because I'm assuming you need to get out of there for some financial reason.
Yeah.
And we'll sell it off and reach a point where we'll pay you off and then keep the remainder for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And how'd that go?
Well, he already sold off a bunch of it.
No!
I know.
Damn it. All right.
Big bummer. I was excited about having a puppet show.
That wouldn't be the weirdest thing we have. So I'd be fine with that. Damn it. Yeah, good thing you didn't tell me about that because I'd be super stoked about that and then just be led up to
just more motivators and like big Richardson lights and stuff.
Oh, we sold one motivator. I mean, we could.
That's true.
We could always sell it and maybe liquidate it and see what happens. But yeah, all right. Well, worse things have happened than not getting that.
Oh yeah,
just another thing we have to worry about.
Exactly.
Okay. On to the main topic. I think we've filled them in on everything that's going on with us.
Yeah, we spent way too much time on ourselves.
Holy shit, did we?
Stupid stuff that we.
Holy shit.
Super not important.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that was probably a good 20 minutes on just our stuff, and that's not important. And we just droned on because it's not that important, and most of the time we can't even tell you about it because it's a project coming soon.
I know.
And then it never happens.
It's a mystery project.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so actually we have our first kind of like topic that was sent in from a listener.
That's right.
So yay! Thanks, Mitch Fotz.
Yeah, this question is from Mitch.
Because you are the first person to take an interest in this podcast.
Yeah, he messaged us on fearlessfilmmaker.com.
Yep.
Sent us a message, and he said...
What did he say?
He said, I'd be interested in hearing what kinds of work your studio does to pay the bills while you work on your short and feature projects, and how this work has changed over the years as you've gotten traction.
Well, Mitch, you're in luck, because we have a production company.
Yes.
And we've had bills we've had to pay over the years.
Gosh, and we still do.
And we've been making money from our production company. So you are in luck. We have some answers. Some, maybe.
I wouldn't say answers, because we kind of like just fumble our way through.
Yeah, that's just the story of our life. We kind of fumble and bumble our way through life, and somehow, it's kind of funny. Every time we have a slow, it's really weird. Every time we have a slow time in terms of selling gear and like projects, all of a sudden we get hit with 5 of them at a time. Yeah. Either we get 3 things sold and then 2 projects, or some other way around. It's really weird. We have a really weird way of things always working out for us.
We do. I also think I've noticed we have the tendency to get gigs in like the November, December, January region.
That's a good point.
Because I always, my parents even commented on it over the holiday break. They were like, "Oh, you don't have your computer. You always are doing work over the holiday." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." And I was like, "Wait a second, how come we don't have?" And then January hit. Then January hit, and we're like, "Oh my god, I have so much stuff."
I know, and we do. So we're going to walk you through like the life of a production company. Me and Alex started our production company. You were just looking this up for our business plan. When?
In June 21st, 2013. And
you know, it's kind of funny. We had a production company. That's when we officially started our production company.
In LA.
We had our production company, you know, we tell people we had a production company. We had the name Gilded Cinema for a while. But then it hit that we were getting gigs that required us to be an LLC.
Yeah.
And so that's when we actually founded the LLC. Good to go. We're a legit company.
Yeah, we kind of we went back and forth. We actually made the LLC first in Delaware.
Yeah.
Because we thought that was the thing you were supposed to do. But then shortly realized that wasn't going to work for us because certain gigs required that you were a company in the actual state, which makes sense because it's not like production is like an online company where you can just do it anywhere.
Yeah.
But so then we dissolved that and then redid it here in
LA,
in California.
On that date. So when we started out, you know, me and Alex were each working different jobs, and it was one of those things where, you know, we had different expertise. Alex was a shooter first, DP first. I was a director, editor first, and all that. But we basically had the same idea of what we wanted to do and all that, so that's why we formed a production company. But then we realized we needed money because we wanted to buy stuff.
Yep, and that's pretty much right.
And so it was kind of one of those things is like as freelancers, before we had our production company, everything that we did freelance would go to our pockets.
Yeah.
And
it was pretty slim, I would say. I mean, it was like, you know, the typical freelancer deal where you spend 2 weeks trying to find a gig. You get a gig that lasts for 2 days, and then you spend another week to find another job. And it's just like, you know, this weird juggling of your time and trying to get gigs and do gigs. And it's just like kind of a strange thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, even now, it's still, freelancing is a strange thing.
Yeah, it's worrisome if it's all you've got.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And so what we did is we, you know, we both went to USC. I had a connection of working at USC with people. And so we started off with our production company doing some demos for free. You know, I had talked to people I had worked with before, and I said, hey, you know, if you're looking for video work, and they're like, yeah. I remember we did a demo for my old job where it was kind of like the heads-up display that you see in Iron Man in the Iron Man suit in the visor, but this was more interactive where we were like I was touching imaginary stuff and swiping things off the screen and all that.
If you can't see Trevor, which you can't, he's doing it here in the studio.
Yeah, that's. I'm just. Wow. Yeah, I'm just trying to amp myself up. But so we did that for free and sent it off to some people. Did a lot of demos, small animations, whiteboard animations, and all that for free in hopes of drumming up business. And we got some gigs out of that. We got some smaller gigs, and we also at one point we sent mailers. So we had the idea that, you know, we knew people at USC. We knew who to talk to because that's the people we talked to at USC. So we sent out little postcards. I mean, we went hardcore. We sent out postcards with all the work we had done, you know, for Larry and stuff like that, and like on our own, still shots of it. And we put them in envelopes and we wax sealed them with our logo.
That's right.
And we sent them to all the different schools at USC.
And the reason we did that is because... people like getting mail when it's not junk mail.
Yep.
And a postcard seems like junk mail immediately. But when it's in an envelope, it doesn't. And if it's in an envelope with a wax seal, it especially doesn't.
Yeah.
Even though it is.
Even though it looks like it's an invitation. And what that invitation is to give us money to do something.
Correct.
And so we sent those mailers to the same people in all the other departments at USC as well as other colleges. And so I would recommend, if you are, Mitch, if you're in an area where there's some schools there, even if they're small schools, universities, high schools, not
even just schools, but companies.
Yeah. Go to them and either give send a mailer to them, or just walk in and talk to them and say, hey, who here can I talk to about possibly, doing some video work for you. We also recommend going on, just find local companies, not big conglomerates, but like mom and pop shops or maybe like small chain restaurants in your area, and check out their website and see if they have any videos, see if they have a YouTube presence. If not, that's something you can go to them and say, hey, I can do videos for you for relatively cheap.
Or even better, if they have videos already and they're outdated.
Or they're really bad. And this might be where you have to do a demo for free, and then they'll give you business.
Yeah, plus one thing, like Trevor was saying, I've been doing this business plan with all this info and data and stuff. I think that stuff is very important, especially when you're talking with business people. And so I think it's good to come into places like that with information about why it's important to have good video.
Yep.
Because, as we all know from social media and people's attention span and just what works the best, video is one of the best things to get people's attention. And so having videos that are good is actually very important for companies. And so it's just a matter of convincing them of that, letting them know the facts, and displaying your talents to them so that you're the guy they go to for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the people that we got some work from at USC said, there was other companies she could contact, but she liked us. She liked hanging out with us, talking with us. So she knew that when she had to do I think we did a 1-week video shoot with her, plus the edit, she knew that she was going to enjoy hanging out with us during the day.
It wasn't going to be
dry,
annoying having to go back and forth between, the revisions and feeling like we're annoyed or like we're mean or we're grumpy or whatever. It's like, no.
Yep.
That's super important.
Yeah. There's also Tongle, and a lot of websites like Tongle. And what it does is brands will put up prompts and you make a video, or with Tongle, it's you make a pitch and then it's a couple rounds and you can actually be chosen to make video projects for big brands and get paid. And that's one way to do it, but it's cutthroat and you kind of have to do the video before it's going to get picked and you get money, which sucks.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know. We never got anything from Tongle because we only actually applied to like maybe 3 of them.
Yeah,
and then we realized that we didn't love the format of it because we came into it pretty late, and a lot of it was based on the people's previous Tongle work.
Yeah,
which some people had like hundreds of Tongle things they'd done. Yep. And we had none, so it was going to be really hard to get gigs in that way, because we couldn't at the time show outside work that we had done. We couldn't post up other things that we'd done that were outside of the Tongle ecosystem. So to them, basically, we had no experience, which was tough to compete with. Yeah. So if you're going to do it, I think they've changed that now. We haven't gone back to it really since. But I think you can now actually post up different
outside projects.
And I would highly, because we actually got really close with one pretty large project. It was going to be like a tour across the U.S. That was going to be a crazy thing. But we got pretty far because we started kind of contacting and being in touch with the people at Tongle about it. So if you have a really cool idea that you really like and you think it's great, I would suggest reaching out to the people at Tongle and saying, hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing. I want some advice on this little aspect or whatever. Just sort of like open the gates so that they know who you are, A. You're asking them for help, maybe a little bit, or just saying, I want to make this the best it can be. Here's my 2 options. Which one do you think is the best for this project or whatever? Just sort of get them involved. That way if it comes down to it, they might remember yours more or have the ability to sort of like say, yeah, I think these guys look pretty good to the clients or whatever. Yeah. And it just might give you that little extra oomph.
Yep. And then we also, this is, when you're starting small, you don't have much to show people what you can do. And so we took less money to start shooting cooler things that would really look good on a reel, because we knew the reel would sell us for bigger clients and bigger projects. So we shot a bunch of stuff. Some stuff we shot for free. Some stuff we shot spec commercials and stuff like that. Just knowing that it'll look good and get us those bigger clients and those bigger paydays. And then that helped us build up our reel, and we had a pretty solid reel when we were showing it around, and people kind of liked what we were doing and what we had done. So that's another thing to do when you are starting out your production company and trying to get clients to get a little bit of money for either living monies or buying monies.
Yeah, and one of those things I'll tell you was for The Rock, which, I mean, of course you can't pass that up no matter what they're paying. But this was like the very first YouTube video for The Rock, so they didn't really have a budget for it, but the mastermind behind the whole thing wanted to try to make it as epic as possible. So they wanted to use all sorts of equipment and have like a big crew or whatever, and like no one was really. We got $300 total for the shoot.
Yeah, with all of our equipment.
With all of our equipment that would have normally cost several $1,000s.
Yep.
But we did it for the experience, to have it on a reel, and it led to other projects with that company, Studio 71, and it also, I'm sure, has led to other things as well, because just having that on the reel has been...
Oh, yeah, killer. When you see a reel with The Rock on it, and everyone knows who The Rock is, and it definitely helps you out. And then also we did small one-off gigs. We did... like Alex said, we did The Rock for $300, but we also did like small little editing jobs for $200. Some editing jobs here for $3 or $4. Alex did some VFX and some coloring for some monies.
That's right. Yeah, I have one coloring gig on my IMDb. It was for a short film, and I mean, I just literally did it for like the couple $100 that I was, because at the time, definitely needed that. It was like I hadn't colored anything before.
Yeah.
And it was, I just stepped out of my comfort zone because I needed the extra money, and it was like, all right, let's try this. I feel like that when you're first starting out and you're freelancing, you try to like cast a super wide net, and you see what comes in. And sometimes it's crazy things.
Sometimes you get a job to do some 3D VFX for a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. It doesn't work out.
That's true. That's true. That happened to me.
Yep.
But it was, I mean, yeah, who knows? Who knows what that was all about? But
there was a lot to that. And then also another thing when you're starting off to make some money is to rentals. With ShareGrid now, rentals are so much easier. Mitch, I know you had mentioned that you just bought a Panasonic Eva 1. Congratulations. Welcome to the family.
Nice.
Welcome to the family. And you have, you have two, you have some primes and you have a Cinema Zoom. And so, rent those out, put those out there. You're not going to be filming every weekend. People rarely are. And the worst thing you can do is just spend a lot of money on equipment, just let it sit there and not make you money. So start putting it up on ShareGrid. We've had nothing but good experiences on ShareGrid. Every time there's been an issue, it gets solved. And our equipment makes us money when we're not filming, and it's great. And that's how you can make money to buy more stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it can be scary when it's your only thing,
Yeah.
And having the possibility of having it being rented out when all of a sudden a gig pops up and you need to shoot with it, and you would get paid way more for this gig than you would for the rental. So that's kind of like a scary thing. So maybe start small and rent things that you have duplicates of or that you don't use as much. So like if you find that you're not using the Zoom as much as you are the primes or whatever, rent the Zoom out.
Yeah.
just sort of start small and go from there. And like as you make a little bit of money from it, set it aside, and then you can buy more gear and then rent that out and all that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of how we have managed to sort of build up our equipment list, and as well it kind of helps pay for our studio space in general. But I think having the extra gear that you don't use all the time, while causing extra problems like needing more space to put it, will help in the rental department, because then it becomes a lot easier. Because, you know, if all of a sudden someone rented 3 of our lights, if we only had a 3-light kit, we would be screwed if a shoot came up, but we have many more lights than that. So, you know, it's just like spreading it out so it's a little bit safer. Well,
also, and you know, not that this is ideal, but it will take away some of the apprehension you have to renting out your stuff. You know, put your stuff up there. If it gets rented out, you know, you can always rent somebody else's, and maybe you won't have as much money from the shoot as you did before, but, you know, more often than not, you're not going to be needing that piece of equipment you rented out. And if all of a sudden you get a last-minute gig, rather than say, well, I don't have my equipment, go rent a piece of equipment to replace the one that you rented out.
Yeah,
if
for
not,
less.
For less, yeah. So you're still making some money. And if you have to rent it for the same amount that you rented yours out, well, then you're breaking even, but you're getting a gig that you wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, that's true. And you're making a rental connection.
Yep.
Because, I mean, we have people that are repeat renters. They come back and rent usually the same thing over and over again from us, and sometimes they rent more. So having that connection is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how we started. That's how we started our production company making money. It wasn't a lot.
I'll also add with the rental thing. Starting out as a shooter, when I didn't have a lot of stuff on my reel and I was younger, and all my friends were younger too. I mean, I don't know if it would work the same now if I was like just getting into it, but I feel like I got a lot of the opportunities that I got because I was the guy with the gear.
Yeah.
And so people would come to me and say, hey, do you want to gaff this project, or do you want to shoot this project? We need you and your gear. And whether it was free or not, I just think having it gave me the opportunity to do more stuff, because people were like, well, I can get him and the gear instead of having to like find the gear separately and rent it and pay all this money. And granted, that's like somewhat exploitative of myself.
Yeah.
But when you're first starting out and you're young and you're doing stuff and you're just trying to like make it with it. I mean, everyone's in the same boat. I mean, no one's really making a ton of dough. It's not like my friends were pulling in like 10 grand on something and they were not paying me at all. It's like, that's not what it was. No one was getting paid.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's fine. I mean, we have a whole like other episode about this, but I'm fine with that kind of stuff. So, and it leads to other things. Like if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have gotten The Rock. I wouldn't have gotten Larry. I wouldn't have gotten anything. You know, it's like it all just leads to something.
It definitely does. And you never know where the connection comes from. We shot the pilot this weekend and we're producers on it because the producer on it, wanted to buy a shoulder rig from us because we had the gear. And that led to us.
He bought the shoulder rig from us. It was like a Craigslist exchange. And he came and he saw everything that we had, all our gear, and was like, whoa, you guys have a lot. What do you guys do? And we just started talking about stuff. And then,
and now we're producing a pilot and probably producing a TV show and movies. So you never know where it comes from.
Exactly.
So take any connection you can get. So back to what I was saying before Alex rudely interrupted me.
Yeah.
And what I was saying is that's kind of how we started small.
Oh, by the way,
I was waiting for that asshole. It's like, he's going to do it again. I just know it. Waiting for the joke. So that's how we kind of got started small. You know, it takes a little bit to build up when you're doing the small things. But as you build up, then you can move on to the bigger things. And that's what happened with us. So by doing all that stuff and having a reel and knowing that we did outside projects, even from Larry, working at Aura, we got outside gigs. You know, we got people came to us and were like, hey, I heard you you edit outside of Larry, and they had shot something at Larry's studio that Larry wasn't involved with, or it was an independent thing that they paid Larry to do, and they something else. We got an editing gig of an infomercial off of that paid pretty well.
Yeah.
The USC gigs blew up because we were able to show them that we had, experience working within the USC system in terms of invoicing and, making sure we were an approved vendor through USC. And we got a huge gig from USC. And that paid for, gobs of equipment for us.
Yeah.
And money to us. And also we got large one-off gigs, where it was just these big gigs that were just one-time video. It wasn't an ongoing thing. It was just somebody that we had worked with on one of our projects led us to another project, and all of a sudden we were doing these giant edits.
I would like to say we're still in the schmedium section right now. So when you say giant, I feel like people are assuming that we're talking like huge budgets.
Okay, I would say giant compared to what we were doing before.
Which is, I would say, like 10 to 15 grand.
The USC gig one,
20.
That was the big one.
Well, you're jumping ahead to my logger section, which is
bigger USC gigs. That's true. Okay. All right, you're true. Yeah.
So we had
10 and
the OT one, which was like 20
grand. 10 to 15 to 20 grand through USC.
The butt pills infomercial was like 15.
Yep.
Feeding San Diego was like 5.
Yeah, Ruju was
like 5 or 7.
Berman was.
That was only a couple grand.
That was
3.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah. But that was an easy one. But yeah, so we were able to do projects that didn't necessarily pay, but just gave us a little more creativity. Like we did some pilots for Aura, for Larry's company, that we didn't get paid that much for, but we were in charge of it. It was our idea. We shot, edited it, came up with the concept and all that, wrote it, and that kind of just helped build our reel and build our reputation, even within the company, of being the guys that you could go to get shit done.
Yeah, and I'd say even though we didn't get paid a lot ourselves for it, it was I think maybe the first time someone had said, "Here's some money, make things that you want to make." And
because we know you guys can do it.
Granted, we didn't have like full freedom on it.
Really do.
We had a development executive who had ideas and stuff and had what he wanted to do, and we kind of like tried to do a combo both. But that was kind of like our first someone giving us money to sort of go and do something that we thought we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And so that was kind of the schmediums that we built up into. And then we're talking like, what was that date again? 2006?
4.
2004 is when we started this company?
No. 2006?
Oh God, yeah, no, that's
2013.
That's right, man. I am sleep deprived here, guys. I apologize.
2006?
Yeah, no,
I hadn't
still
even
in college.
Graduated yet.
I know, we were still both in college. Man, I need some sleep. No, 2014. So we're talking,
13.
2013. So we're talking now 5.5 years. We still got a little ways to go.
Yeah.
So 5.5 years. We're talking about probably about 3 years in. We're in the Schmeeds area.
Yeah, I think so.
4 years in, we're Schmeeds because we're just starting to get into the larger, as Alex wrote on this.
Yeah,
larger.
Yeah,
the larger gigs.
Yeah,
the larger gigs. And that's year 5 and 6. So you're thinking like maybe 2 years in each section should give you enough time to build up to make your production company something that's self-sustainable. Not everyone has a studio that we know who has a production company. We're lucky to find the one that we did.
I mean, super lucky.
Especially for the price. And
if it wasn't the press, we wouldn't have a studio, period.
Exactly. And especially because we just needed a place to pull all of our gear, and it was not that much more expensive than 2 storage units. And we also got lucky in doing a bunch of, auctions and buying stuff and reselling it and getting money that way too. But now we're getting into year 6, and we're into the larger lager.
Yeah. The larger gigs.
And that is, what I jumped the gun on, the giant USC project, $80,000.
Yeah.
That was huge. That paid for a lot of stuff.
And then we got another one that was what, like 40?
Yeah, another 45? One that was 45. And we started working with companies independently that had lots of VC backing and a lot of investors like Playboy, Studio 71, Pocket Watch, Machinima, and doing more with Aura too.
Yeah.
And, it's stuff like we've gotten reputations now around the industry, not huge reputations that everyone knows about us, but those who do know about us know that they can come to us because we're kind of a one-stop shop. We can shoot, we can develop, shoot, edit, deliver all in-house.
Yeah.
And that kind of has helped us get bigger gigs. So it's about a 2-year process for each section, small, medium, and larger.
Yeah. And now, I would also like to point out that throughout all of these sections, we're still, I think the most important part is that we're just doing stuff.
Yeah.
And trying to get better because, that's how you are able to get the bigger stuff. Because, just working for Larry, prior to working for Larry, my shooting skills were basically that of just like natural light with like a DSLR.
It was like a small child was lighting things.
Yeah, pretty much exactly right. Like a small child would do no lighting, and that's exactly what I did. So it was all just kind of like
he was like a college frat boy. He loved his natural light, natty light.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I did. Mostly because I didn't know anything else. I didn't,
Yeah.
But over time, things, I started learning outside, like taking it upon myself to learn. Hashtag check out our previous episodes. And
hashtag please and like it on iTunes.
Which allowed us, along with sort of like growing our equipment, growing our reel, growing our expertise, like you sort of like incrementally get better in all these areas, and it sort of just happens, It's not, I wouldn't say that, yes, we are constantly working and we're constantly like looking for the next thing or pitching stuff or putting together packets and approaching people, and like we're doing all that stuff, but it doesn't seem like work. I don't know. It's weird because it seems to me like
natural progression.
It just happens. Yeah, it's like natural.
And to piggyback on that, we're going to these people with, these packages and these setting up deals and all that. And I would say that year 5, 6 is when I feel not only can we handle anything they throw at us, we are equipped in terms of just skill level and experience now. But people don't look at us as like, who are these guys? They can't do this. This is big boy territory, and these guys are small fries. I think we've built up enough of a reputation, enough of a resume, as you could say, to go to people and be like, hey, and they won't laugh us right out of the room. They'll be like, okay, let's talk about this.
Yeah, exactly right.
And that's like the thing. Like now we're moving on to the bigger things, like the pilot that we shot. This is what we're going to be aiming for: a 10-episode pilot, a 10-episode series, season 1 that we're going to try and get on, cable TV, and have legit budgets and crew and all that. And I feel that it's not overwhelming at all because we've worked up to this.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where, and we've talked about this before too, as you're going along, you're always like, oh, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. But looking back, now that we are where we are, looking back several years ago, we weren't ready.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been able to really do it to the best quality. And even now, we'll be able to say that 10 years from now as well.
Yeah.
And it just will never end. I feel like we'll always get better and hopefully, just constantly be growing. But like, it's just great. I honestly look back, and if like someone brought a TV pilot to us 3 years ago, I don't think it would have been great.
No. It's kind of funny. I just read something. You know who Joe Cornish is?
Is he the guy that invests in hens?
For it. Yeah, I knew it was coming. Knew there was going to be some kind of Cornish game hen joke in there. Never fails. He never fails, guys. He's predictable. He is the guy who did Attack the Block. Remember that movie?
Uh-huh.
Aliens in the Apartment.
Quite good.
Yep. So that was his debut. And that was 6 years ago. And he's just coming out with his next movie now.
Yeah. What's it called?
It's the kid who would be king. It's like that King Arthur take.
My God.
Yeah. Which people say is great. It's a great family film. Awesome. All that.
What a strange path he's gone.
He said that that's a movie he's wanted to do since he was like 6. So that's cool. I'll give more power to him.
Sure.
But everyone was wondering why he didn't do progress himself. And, because there was rumors that he was offered when J.J. Abrams left Star Trek to go and do Star Wars, that he was in line to do Star Trek. And he actually turned it down because he said he didn't think he was ready to do a giant blockbuster because he saw too many times these directors that would do nice little auteur films like Attack the Block or, indie sci-fi movies like that. And then they jump into a bigger project and just flame out and fail and come out battered and bruised. And
I feel that, but Attack the Block was pretty intense. It had VFX.
Yeah.
It had celebrities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who is a celebrity? They're celebrities now.
You don't think what's his face from Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead was a celebrity?
Was he in that? It's been so long since I've seen Attack the Block.
It's not Simon Pegg, but the other guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean, that's true. But at the same time, I mean, you get celebrities in movies because they're just looking for a paycheck sometimes.
Right, but I'm just saying he's worked with celebrities in that movie. The production design, I mean, effects, it's all there. It's just to a higher degree. But I get it. I would be freaked out.
But look at
on a tentpole, it's
Colin Trevorrow.
Got to maintain a franchise that has expectations with fans and stuff. I mean, that's the pressure to me.
Colin Trevorrow worked with stars during Safety Not Guaranteed, had VFX at the end, and then he went to
Borderline. I mean,
the end.
Did you see it?
It's the end. The end, like what I liked. It wasn't super effects heavy, but it was enough at the end that it was okay.
Yeah, but if you look at those effects, I mean, those were 1995 After Effects. those weren't
True.
CG monster interacting with real. The effects in Attack the Block were real effects.
and CGI creatures.
And character design I mean, it was real deal stuff.
But so he just said that he wasn't ready, and they thought he was ready.
Yeah.
But he dug deep down and said, I'm not ready. And I feel that if somebody would have offered something to us, we probably would have been like, let's do this. And it probably would have been terrible.
Oh my God, it would have been so bad.
Yeah. And so I feel that right now we're ready. You want us to do a feature film? That's fine. We can do that.
Yeah.
You want us to do a TV pilot? That's fine.
I feel like now we're ready for an Attack the Block.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I feel the same way where I'm not ready to take on a Star Trek. That'd be crazy talk.
If anybody came up to us and offered to give us Star Trek, I would take the money, do the movie, and then say, this is on you guys because you actually trusted me.
This is what you get for not doing your research.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, don't be an idiot. But no, I mean, I feel we can take on not just your indie $200,000 movie. We could shoot $1 million movie. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Without a problem.
Easy.
And so that's kind of it. And so Mitch, I'm sorry if we went all off on tangents here. With the original question is, what kind of work your studio does to pay the bills. But we just kind of took you through the progression of the evolution of Gilded Cinema.
Yeah.
We started small. We started doing, local stuff. We started doing, we knew somebody, YouTube kid wanted to do a video for $200. We did that. We weren't too proud.
We weren't very picky. I mean, we're still not.
No, we're still not.
To be honest with you there, Mitch. Because we're still not very picky because we'll do random YouTube videos for $1,000 for a friend.
And that is because we just want more cool equipment.
It really is.
It really is. It really is just one of those things where why dig into the funds if we can just do this one-off video and buy a new camera, a new small DSLR with it? It's because we just want some cool equipment to play with. But that's how we did it. We just kind of started small, built our way up. And I would recommend, you said that you have a little work in VFX, a little experience with VFX and stuff like that. But I would definitely say stuff like that, VFX, motion graphics, title design and editing is something you can do at home and on the weekend, that's a lot easier because it's on your own pace. And that's kind of how you can get going in the monies.
I looked up the other day the price that or the amount that trailer editors get on films. It's like
stupid expensive.
It's crazy.
Don't you just get.
We're talking multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars for one trailer.
Now I know it's a lot more that goes into trailer. The person has to watch the movie, figure out how to tell the story and all that. Yeah. And so maybe it's a month.
It's a specialized thing.
Maybe it's a month of work.
Yeah.
But that's still 6 figs for a month of work. And you do 12 of those?
Even if it was 6 months of work.
Yeah, give me that.
Yeah, for sure.
Give me that. Yeah. So yeah, like editing is one of those things that you can do at home, at night. It's not too taxing of a thing. And that's how you can start building up your reel and then start getting into shooting. You said you had gear enough for a one-man shoot. That's sometimes all you need, especially if you're going to small businesses around you.
That's it. Plus, the second man, honestly, is usually going to be a sound person. And those people have their own gear, too.
Exactly.
And it's a whole specialty that you don't have to really focus on. So I feel like you're on the right track there. I think, for me, the thing that I've noticed most of all over the years has been myself struggling to find the right balance between making enough money.
Yeah.
Doing things that I like to do. And then doing things that I want to do. So it's like I have found that I can make decent money doing motion graphics and other kinds of graphics and stuff. And that's all good and fine, but I don't love it, the process of it, Yeah. Mostly because like when you're doing design of any kind and editing, you're dealing with a client and notes and clients that don't know how to express notes clearly or don't know what they want. And then you have to decipher it or like make a dozen revisions just to try to get to what they want. And it's very frustrating to me. And I've never liked it, but it has been. I love doing graphics and effects and stuff for my own stuff, but it's never been something that I love doing for clients and for money for that reason.
Yeah.
So for me, I've always tried to limit that and pull it out of like my back pocket, have it in my back pocket for when I need it. And I think it's good to have a few of those things.
Yeah.
Where you can just say, oh man, we haven't had something in a little while. I think it's time for me to sort of spread my wings a little bit and get back out there and do some stuff. And I think it's good to have a few different skills that you can fall back on like that.
And then sometimes, I go back to the who's the guy who directed National Treasure? John Turteltaub, where he said that, some people said, how do you get up, in the morning every 6 a.m.? He said, you know what? Some days I just tell myself they're paying you a lot of money to do this. And so while,
But that's hard. That's harder when they're not paying you a lot of money to do it.
But what I was going to say is that sometimes you just have to suck it up and do the gigs you don't want to do to pay the bills. Yeah. Sometimes you have to take a gig. Like me and Alex go back and forth in this all the time. It's like, oh man, we have to, I'm like, oh man, this would be pretty sweet if we can get this thing. He's like, I really don't want to do it. I'm like, I don't want to do it either, but look at how much it's going to pay us and how easy it is. And then what I usually do is I just dangle like a new piece of equipment in front of Alex. Like, then we could buy this. He's like, oh yeah, then we could. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, let's do it right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so you just got to remember that sometimes you're going to do gigs that you don't want to do or that don't really challenge you creatively. But at the end of the day, you got to pay those bills, and if you want to build up your equipment list, you gotta get that money.
Yeah. But that being said, like you're back to your main question of how do you pay the bills while you work on your shorts and features. I think the reason I am adverse to these things is because I feel like if it's not needed or like super important, it takes away from the trajectory of our ideal path, which is to make the things that we want to be making. Because things like, for example, there was a project that came up. I submitted to it. It was like a random job board posting, and I ended up getting it partly probably because I actually ended up knowing the guy, and it was for $1,000. And it was for a project called Berman's World.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a 2-day shoot.
Yep.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
And then
in our studio, so it wasn't like we had to
studio.
go somewhere and set up. We had all of our equipment here.
Yeah. But then the post-production started happening, and it dragged on for what I believe is about 6 months.
Yeah, about that.
And then he still has hit us up recently. And I get it. I mean, he wants the best thing that he can get. We want the most money for the least amount of work because, I mean...
It's taking away from our other projects.
It's taking away from our other projects, and the more we do, the less money we actually get in the end because he's not paying us to do more. It's just we're doing more.
Yep.
So it's like things like that where you get into... That's why I have the adverse reaction.
Yeah.
Partly because I just know.
It's going to be bigger than it really is.
It's going to be that way, no matter what. Like this pilot, the shoot was fine. 2-day shoot, easy. 12-hour days, okay. It's going to take, a little bit to edit the thing. Fine. Coloring, fine. Like all these things are expected, but then it comes down to the revisions and dragging out the process of actually like settling on a finished product. And that's what I know is going to happen. I just don't know how long it's going to take. And it could take a month. It could take 6 months. Who knows?
It did. And then I get that. And I get that. I definitely understand that. And it can be frustrating at times. And you know what? I keep telling myself that, and I'm getting better at that, is like, you know what? I waste so much time. Like, I can't complain about having to do a project that pays the bills because when I'm not doing that project, I'm wasting so much time that I feel like, well, you know what? That just means I have to get my ass in gear for the other projects. And so I need to do better at time management. And
sure. But
yeah.
I will say that like we are perhaps slightly different than what a normal freelancer is talking about, or like a person with a company, because we do have a regular gig. You go into Larry's studio every day.
Yep.
I go in 3 times a week. So that it's not, we don't have a ton of time.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like it's either taken up by a project that we
don't really want to
do, or a project that we do want to do. It's like one or the other. It's really hard to do more than one thing,
especially when you're married.
Yeah, yeah,
that sucks some time too. Pay attention to me. Oh God. Oh. But no, I totally get what you mean. And the goal is, I keep hearing this quote. I forget what it is like, do one thing. Find one hobby that pays you, that one hobby that helps your creative output, and one hobby that like kind of gives you exercise and all that. And if you can make money from 2 of those things, you're doing all right. Like it's like a hobby for exercise, a hobby for creativity, and a hobby for I forget what the third one was, but it's like if you can get 2 of those things to pay you, then you're doing all right.
I feel like whoever came up with that quote, knows that it's not the hobby for exercise that's going to pay you. I mean, who's going to become like a side tennis professional?
Well, that would be Kyle at Aura.
Does he make money from that?
Oh yeah, he.
Oh, he teaches.
Yeah, he teaches.
I see.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the actual thing is. Hobby that makes money. Oh, it's a pretty good quote. But I'll find it and I'll tell you guys what it is because I see it all the time, but I just can't for the life of me remember what it was. But something like that. It's like find a hobby for exercise, a hobby for mental stimulation, and a hobby for creativity or something like that. And if you can get those things to pay, if one of them pays, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Plus a hobby for sexual stimulation.
Hey,
and if you can get paid for that,
no, I'm not even joining in on this. Okay. Nope, I can't even follow on that one. So Mitch, hopefully that answers your question. If not, shoot us up on Fearless Filmmaker.
Shoot us up. All right.
Wow, I really need to get some sleep. Hit us up on Fearless Filmmaker, and if you need us to be more specific on what we exactly do, we can definitely do that. But just trying to make it general for everyone. But that is what we do as a production company. We kind of do a smorgasbord of projects to pay the bills, and they've been getting bigger and bigger as we've built up our reputation and our reel.
Yeah, and I'll say that they're starting to converge with what we want to do. I feel like it's slowly getting there. It's we're at the edge of it.
I think we're at the precipice of being able to not only leave Larry, but do what we want and make a living just on that.
Yeah.
And we're getting close. I'm very confident. I shouldn't be, because I was confident about our project with the TV station and that fell through.
Yeah.
But that was like a deal. That was like that's something crazy that had to be done. But I feel confident with the people that we've surrounded ourselves with the past couple of weeks, the people we've met. Their vision is supplement to our vision, and what they want to do seems to be on the same path as what we want to do.
Yeah.
Maybe in a different way, but it's like as they're going down their path, we could be on the side path or a parallel path, and we meet in the same point.
Yeah.
And, so that...
Well, it wouldn't be parallel then, but I get what you're saying.
It's parallel, and then it just kind of curves in at the end. Like most roads. But yeah, so I think I'm feeling pretty confident that we're getting close to the point where we're rocking out how we want to rock out. We're the masters of our own destiny.
Yeah. Masters of the universe.
I have the power.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Good old Dolph.
Good old Dolph. God, yeah.
What a great movie.
What a great movie.
I need to rewatch that so I can relive my childhood.
Fucking good. It's so good. All right, so let's go on to... That was long and drawn out. How long have we been talking already?
Oh, my gosh. Well, with the intro shenanigans, an hour 16.
Ooh, I'm sorry, guys. We'll cut off some of those beginning shenanigans so you don't have to listen to it.
Yeah, and we'll blow through these what's cool things real quick.
Yep, so what's cool? For me, Red Raw to Adamus. So Adamus signed a licensing deal with Red to be able to take RAW out of the Red cameras. Before, Red always sent RAW to their own proprietary hardware and hard drives and all that, and with their own special cables and all that, and it was kind of Red, do or die Red if you wanted RAW. What Adamus is doing is they're doing their own version of RAW that is not... editor specific. So I think ProRes RAW you can only edit in Final Cut. Blackmagic RAW can only be shot on the Blackmagic. And like I said before, Red RAW can only be captured on a Red peripheral. But what Adamus is doing is they're getting all the licenses for other RAW, and any camera that can spit out RAW will send it to an Adamus recorder and become Adamus RAW, which can be used in any... It's not editing program specific.
That's very interesting. I would be curious to see if we can get RAW out of our camera.
I don't know. I think once again it's almost like the micro P2s where it has to recognize that the approved thing is connected to it to push out RAW.
Maybe, but if you recall that that special meeting we had at the Panasonic offices.
Yeah.
The guy with a smile on his face kind of said, I don't know, but wink, wink, probably, maybe you could get RAW out of the SDI.
Okay. That would be sick. For those who don't know, the V35 can only use the codecs recorder to get RAW out of the camera.
It's not even... It's a specific recorder just for the V35.
And it's expensive as shit.
It's like $30,000.
And
the media is like $5,000 a piece.
Exactly.
Plus you need a special reader. Yeah. That's another $10,000 or something.
Yeah. So it's crazy expensive to get RAW out of the V35. But if this can work for the V35, sign me up. I'll buy one.
Yep.
What do you got?
The Punisher on Netflix is said to have a third season on the way, which is kind of cool. I mean, I don't know how they swung that with the whole
everything Marvel getting canceled on Netflix.
Yeah, but that's just
know.
what the executive producer said. We'll see if it actually happens. The second season just went live on Netflix not too long ago. I started it, and I enjoy it quite a bit. I enjoy the old Bernthal.
Oh, I love him.
That's my John Bernthal
That's
impression.
pretty good, man. Is that pre or post zombie in Walking Dead?
That's a good question. That's a good question. It's just anytime.
Yeah,
that's
true.
when he becomes the Punisher. It's just
My God, how do you not have an Oscar or an Emmy yet? What do you think of their different take on Jigsaw?
Jigsaw. Oh, is that what that is?
Ben Barnes, I think.
I haven't quite gotten there yet, maybe, but yeah, it's interesting.
Because in the movie, I'm pretty sure he's disfigured face, and here they just keep the pretty boy face with some scars on it, and he puts a mask on.
Yeah, he's got some scars. But yeah, you're right. It's not he's not super messed up.
Yeah, gotta keep that pretty face.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I have the Focus Bolt wireless monitors. So this is a blend of Small HD, Teradek, and a Mimon, which Teradek actually bought. And Mimon they had a proprietary technology that would send uncompressed video footage over wireless signals, which screams Teradek. And they had partnered with Teradek before, but now Teradek just straight up bought them because Teradek is owned by Viton, and Viton owns everything.
Vinton?
Vinton, there it is. Sorry. Yes, Vinton. Man, I really need to get some sleep. Vinton. And
that does scream Teradek because it screams something that doesn't work all the time.
Yeah.
Like sending uncompressed over wireless.
So basically what the Focus Bolt wireless monitors are, they're small HD monitors with Teradek receivers built right in.
Yeah, they're pretty cool looking, I must say.
They just released the new versions of them, the Focus Bolt, and they're pretty cool. They got handles on the small HDs. We just used HDs for the first time, actually, over the weekend on the pilot, and I loved them.
Yeah, well, we've used them before. The 7 inches, these were the 5 inches.
Yeah,
we hadn't used those before.
That's true. We've used the 7 inches, and I was pretty happy with the 5 inches.
I liked it.
I liked it a lot.
I thought it was a perfect size. 7 can be a little crazy.
Yeah, so Teradek is getting better, and they are teaming up with Small HD to just do built-in receivers, which I like.
I like it. What is it, like $3,000?
Let me see what the price is. I don't know if they've released prices yet. I'm sure they have, and I'm sure it's crazy expensive.
Probably
Let's
is.
see. The prices are the 5-incher with 500-foot wireless HD transmission, 4K, $1,500. The 500 Bolt 500.
That's not bad. $1,500?
Yeah.
Is it the high bright version?
It is. How many nits is it?
Does it have the little buttons on the side? Oh, it's the Focus one. I see.
Yeah, it's the Focus one.
Oh, not interested.
Not interested. The Bolt Sidekick is the 5-incher with, doesn't give you nits, but that one is $21,900. That one's 5-incher.
See the big picture right there with the big monitor. I think that's a 7-inch 703 monitor.
Okay, yeah.
That's the one right there. That's what we want.
That's your jam.
That's the jam.
Yeah. So these are the newest ones are the 500, the TX, the RX, and the Bolt Sidekick. So, yeah, those are cool just because simply they're gonna freaking hopefully work better than Teradek's work on their own. The 703 Bolt, that is what you're looking for.
703 Bolt.
Yep.
And that one is $4,000. Yes, that is correct.
Which, I mean, not bad. Crazy, but
yeah.
If you think about buying a separate wireless system,
that doesn't include.
That's only the receiver. It doesn't include the transmitter. That is correct.
So that's a little crazy, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Looks cool.
I'll take it.
It's probably cool.
Yeah. Good answer.
All right, what else we got here? Another Netflix announcement
Uh-huh.
in early development.
Okay.
Resident Evil live-action TV show.
Man, they have just beaten this Resident Evil thing into the ground.
Oh, yeah, to death. I mean, but it's highly popular, which is crazy. I thought after maybe like the second one, it would have gone downhill, but
Yeah.
no.
Is Mila in this one too?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think
Not
she is.
interested.
No. But I don't know. I think if they do what they've been doing with the Marvel stuff and sort of like revamp it and try to make it a little bit cooler and like, I don't know, I think it could be interesting. Because I like the Resident Evil franchise as a whole, like the concept, the game, and all that kind of stuff. I think they went a little loony with some of the movies.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they keep it a little bit more grounded, which I think is the trend right now. I mean, have you seen the trailer for like The Watchmen?
Yeah.
Same type of deal. It's like a little bit more grounded.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they're just about to release the reboot, the remake of Resident Evil 2, the video game. And so I think they're jumping on that bandwagon because everyone's so excited for that. So it's like, oh, well, I guess people want more Resident Evil. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I'll definitely check it out because it's on Netflix. So I'm not gonna say no. I don't have to pay anything more for it. So maybe, I'll check it out. I'm sure Mila will make an appearance at some point.
Probably.
All right. Is this even worth mentioning? Because if anybody is listening to this, they know that there's going to be a Ghostbusters sequel.
Yeah.
It's going to disregard the one with the women.
Yeah. Well, will it, or will it just be? It's not. It's going to be like it never existed.
Never existed.
They're not going to acknowledge it even a tiny bit.
Nope.
Interesting.
Because it's going to take place in the timeline of Ghostbusters 2. So Ghostbusters 2 is going to be the last movie that happens before. It's like Halloween did with all the Halloweens.
Right.
Yeah.
And similarly, everyone's going to be 100 years older.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll see if the original cast comes back. But Jason Reitman.
Obviously not Harold Ramis, rest in peace.
And is Ivan Reitman still alive?
I don't know.
He directed the first one.
I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, so his son.
Oh, Rick Moranis should come back, though, for
sure. Oh, my God. Come out of retirement, Rick. Come on. This would be amazing. But yeah, so Jason Reitman is directing. He's been developing it in secret over the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. And it's about kids. So it's kind of like a Stranger Things meets Ghostbusters, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm a big Ghostbusters fan. We'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
Oh, what else you got?
Let's see. I saw that Adobe has acquired another company called Allegorithmic, which creates a product called Substance, which is a 3D texturing software that has been used primarily for games, I think, and other post-production type things, but now, I don't know why, though, Adobe has acquired this. It's still kind of a mystery to me because Adobe doesn't have a 3D program like you've mentioned. They have Element 3D, which works in After Effects. But that's like an outside product that isn't, could go away at any moment if Andrew Kramer decided to stop making it.
Yeah.
And then... I don't know. That's it.
Adobe has a crazy business model these days. They bought, we were just talking about it. They bought a like an automated marketing company. When was it? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
For like $4.5 billion.
2015, I think.
For $4.5 billion or something like that.
No, was it? Yeah, it was like maybe 2017.
To like battle Salesforce. So it's like Adobe. What are you doing? Stay in your lane. But I guess you have the money. Do it up, man.
Yeah.
But that is crazy. I don't know why. I think they got to be.
That's right. Adobe does have a 3D modeling software called Dimension.
Oh my God, it's so obscure.
But it's like for product. It's like for creating product shots and stuff, like pack shots, I think. But yeah, it started out as Project Felix. and then became Dimension later.
You know they're going to be making a play for a legit established 3D modeling program. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, if this could turn into that could be interesting. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, would it be easy to work backwards and like this can apply to 3D? Like this adds shading and all that and substance to 3D modeling, so we can just keep working backwards and get the 3D modeling in there? I don't know.
Well, maybe what they're doing is maybe Substance is going to work well with Dimension to add more realism and like
to products
to their modeling capabilities, and then you'll be able to animate them in.
Maybe
something. I don't know what, but maybe After Effects, maybe something else.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows what's in the mind of Adobe? But more power to you, Adobe. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
And what else? I think there's one more left. You popped it up.
That's right. The Mito underwater drone. We all know the drones of the sky.
Do we?
Now we have the Aquaman of drones.
What?
Navatics is the company that makes it. Mito, M-I-T-O. It's a little underwater submarine drone that shoots 4K video at 30 frames per second and shoots 12 megapixel stills.
That's crazy.
It's a Kickstarter.
Okay.
That was funded last year.
Now they're finally pumping it out, huh?
Yeah, now it's also available for pre-order. I was surprised to see. I mean, it seems like there's got to be like no competition. I mean, there is some competition, but
yeah,
I'm surprised that it's only $1,500.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I mean,
it's tethered.
Yeah,
which is probably good.
Power. You want to?
You don't want to last 30 minutes in the ocean and then have your drone sink to the bottom.
Yeah, I was gonna say everyone had the problem with that happening with like the early drones; they just fall out of the sky. Yeah. But
this just sinks to the bottom of the ocean.
Exactly, and you're like, no.
Actually, it's only $1,200 for pre-sale. Not bad.
It's not bad.
So yeah, it stores 64 gigabytes on micro SD. Let's see. You can go a maximum depth of 135 feet.
That's crazy. And it's got LED lights, so if you get down to where it's dark. Yeah. That's crazy.
Let's see. 4 hours runtime. Equipped with a solar panel to extend the duration.
1080 HD, 30 frames per second live video within 1,600 feet.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Bad.
That's not bad at all.
Pretty cool.
And
they have an app on both iOS and Android.
Oh my God, they came out with an app on Android at the same time as iOS?
Good.
That never happens.
Them.
Yeah, man.
That's kind of cool. I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, I feel like you get a lot of really good shots with that.
Hell yeah.
It'd probably be a little bit snazzy, or a little bit better than just like taking a GoPro or something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love me the GoPro, but a lot of things are better than the GoPro. Yeah, especially if you can keep them safe. So that's not bad. I'll check it out if I'd definitely play around with it if I knew somebody who had it.
Yeah. All right,
close us out.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for joining us. You can get the show notes for this episode by visiting nobudgetfilmmaking.com/episode 38.
And do not forget to hop on over to iTunes and subscribe to our podcast while you are there. Give us a 5-star rating if you feel so inclined. But you can also make sure to go over to Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play. There's tons of places you can get the podcast.
Tune in, iHeartRadio. Yeah.
Just get it wherever you get your podcast, guys. Thanks.
Yep. And if you have any filmmaking questions, ask away in the comments section of our website or hit us up on fearlessfilmmaker.com.
Yeah, that's where Mitch hit us up. Mitch, thanks so much for being our first audience question for a whole episode. And we droned on and on. Apologies for that. But also don't forget to head on over to Fearless Filmmakers to join our growing community of filmmakers. Hop on over there, talk to us, talk to other people in the industry all over the world. Bounce ideas off each other and just become a happy family.
That's right.
And we'll talk to you guys next time.
Later.
Peace.